Support.
The maestro, please!
With school now in full swing, I can hopefully add some songs to that back-to-school playlist. This'll be for the week of
September 4th, 2019.
On this day in music back in 1968, Eric Clapton recorded the guitar part to While My Guitar Gently Weeps by George Harrison. Brucker's ninth is always an interesting one. He died while writing it, only finished the first 3 movements, and he only had started the 4th. So some people have tried to complete it, other composers and arrangers. Some performances literally only perform part of the movement that was written by him. This performance specifically only does the first 3 movements, so you'll only hear Bruckner's compositional style as opposed to someone else's interpretation of it.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Reflections
With a name like Jazzmeia Horn, you really only ever had one career route. She's a fantastic vocalist, and this is only her 2nd album, so I suggest keeping an eye on her, as I imagine we're only going to get more good things from her. Similar to what Dave Koz is doing, who's oddly enough on this album, David Benoit and Friends is just a collection of the various powerhouses of smooth jazz. So if you'd like to hear David Benoit performing with many other accomplished jazz artists, I would recommend this album.
Singing.
I love rock and roll.
For those of you metalheads that have been sleeping on Knocked Loose, critics have called them one of the forerunners for the metalcore revival that has been supposedly happening as of late. So if you wanted some new and refreshing metalcore, I would suggest this album.
It's bigger than hip hop, hip hop. I got the dawn on Martin Luther King. I bought the dawn on Martin Luther King. I hustle hard, I go and get the check.
He has mentioned that this is going to be his last album. He plans on retiring from music to focus on his acting career as well as his other business ventures. So if you're a big fan of Jeezy, this is an album you really can't miss. Always enjoy a good Brockhampton album. I always like the diversity that comes with every release they do. I know they're a hip-hop collective, so they're diverse simply by the nature of how many people are involved, but I always have a fun time going through these. Nothing new this week, although Illenium retained the #1 spot. I was expecting the Chainsmokers to be up there again.
And now I need some help from the maestro, please. I got the dawn on Martin Luther King. I bought the dawn on Martin Luther King. I hustle hard, I go and get the check.
One of the things I enjoyed about this album was the diversity of the features. Obviously, there were other rappers, Meek Mill, Ty Dolla $ign, Rick Ross, but also other artists like CeeLo Green, and more importantly, John Legend.
I'm crying 'cause I love you.
Okay, let's talk about this album for a second. I've been wanting to talk about it for quite some time ever since its release, but obviously I'm only getting to it now that it's in the top 5 of the Billboard 200. I was expecting it to get to the top 5 of the R&B and hip-hop charts, but it didn't, because it's not even on the R&B and hip-hop charts. Everyone in the world is calling Lizzo a hip-hop artist, so how come her album isn't on the hip-hop charts? I apparently have to go talk to Billboard, especially now that Truth Hurts is #1, which is a rap song. Fun fact about this album and Kevin Abstract's solo album, Arizona Baby. When he was originally working on his solo album, he was unable to finish it, creatively speaking. So he decided to work on some other projects to help his creative juices get flowing again. Hence why this album is out. Obviously, Arizona Baby was released back in April, but that's why this album now exists as well.
I'm at that London with some big thighs, no fried cheese steaks with the fish size. Then your mama tell you when something on fire, stop driving road. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I'm surprised this one is still up here, and the likes of Ed Sheeran's #6 collaborations project and Billie Eilish's When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go have fallen off. I was expecting quite the reverse. Regardless, props to Young Thug. course it's number 1. Hell, this album alone accounted for 27% of all US album sales in its first week that it was released. Comparing this one to Reputation, Taylor Swift kind of takes more inspiration from her older music, especially when she was more of a country artist. That's not saying there's not going to be a lot of pop songs on here, but it's a bit more diverse in terms of what sound she's pulling from, and it has a Dixie Chicks feature. So for those of you students who are not exactly thrilled that you have to go back to school, at least you have some new music to enjoy when you have to get up stupidly early.
And now I need some help on the maestro, please. Maestro.